Hi, today I wanted to just show you how I'd got this effect with the Mama Makes, I think they're the May Stampscription stamps. They're a really lovely geometric floral. They're really handy and you can do all sorts of things with them. And what I did is I made some little macrame hanging baskets. So what I wanted to do is just show you how I did these little extra bits. So what I'll do is I'll start off with just doing the individual elements. So with the rope, the first thing I did was I used a ruler to draw a line. And then be quite careful how you pick the ruler up because you don't want to smudge all the ink. And then I just go down that line like so. Just lots of little lines. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then on top of this then I'm going to do this wavy line. So I'm doing this, I'm just going completely on top. There we go, and I thought that gave a bit of a macrame strip effect. The other element I did was I did a tassel. Now for that, if you draw a circle in two halves and then just keep going, and then 3 lines underneath, and then a little bit underneath that in a tassel shape. So it's drawing the circle and the lines underneath and the tassel there. So there you go, you can see that it's just a series of lines really that give you the effects that you want. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how I did the leaves. So I shaped my paint so that I can get just a small amount in the lid. Make sure I've got some kitchen roll, and then I'm going to use a dotting tool. Oh, bless me. A dotting tool, an embossing tool, a ball tool, they're called lots of things. And I'm going to do 2 dots. And then I'm going to just draw the tool down from the 2 dots to the centre. And as you can see, this can be a heart or a leaf. So that's what I did for the leaves. So we'll put all of this together. Now I stamped this earlier. I've stamped it and I've embossed it. I stamped it with a clear embossing pad and then embossed it with white embossing powder. And it's a good idea to use an anti-static bag before you stamp because you do end up with little bits of white otherwise. So the first thing I'm going to do with this now is do my macrame area. So I'm sort of trying to gauge the middle-ish. It doesn't matter if it's not bang on because we can always change that when we add the extra bits. So I do that one, and then I'm going to do another line here. And I'm wiping my ruler in between uses just to make sure I don't smear any of the white ink. There we go. So I've got my 3 lines for the hanging bit, and then I'm just going to do a bunch of little lines up these. And this can be quite a mindful process. I'm whizzing through it because I want to show you how to do it without taking up too much of your time. But it's actually quite a mindful process to do all these lines and marks with the pen. So there we go. And the last one there. Yeah, and then I'm just going to do my wiggly line on top. And if when you do this, if you think, oh, my lines are a little bit off or I'm not quite central, then just come to the side with your little lines that are going up here. It's, you know, once you've done everything else, you won't notice that it was a little bit off. There we go. There we go. So that's that done, and then I'm going to do my tassels. So like doing a circle from 2 different sides. There we go. And there we go. Righty-ho. So that's all the macrame work that I want to do on there. Now I'm going to start adding my leaves, and I'm going to start with my larger ball tool, and I've got some green acrylic paint, so I'm just doing 2 dots and drawing it down, 2 dots and drawing it down. And if you miss here and there, don't worry about it. Nothing in nature is perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. 2 dots and draw it down. Two dots and draw it down. And 2 dots and draw it down. I want one more over here, and don't forget when you're doing this to watch where you're resting your hand, because obviously you've got wet acrylic and you don't want to smudge it all over what you're doing. Now another thing I'm going to do here is with the same paint, I'm just going to do some dots with the same ball tool. I'm just going to do some dots around. And then I'm going to take a slightly, I've got a metallic green, which I thought adds a little bit of interest, and I'm going to use a slightly different size ball tool. I'm going to do the same again. I've just shaken the paint, so I've got paint in the lid that I'm going to use, and so I'm using a different size ball tool, but I'm doing the same technique of just 2 dots and drawing it down, 2 dots and drawing it down, 2 dots, drawing it down, just keeping on in this manner until I'm happy with the overall effect. I think I'll do one more there. And then I'm going to do the same thing again with the tool. I'm just going to do some dots, and what you'll notice is the dots, when you start off, the first one is quite big and then they get smaller, so that's quite a nice effect. So a few more dots. There we go. Oh, I think I need to just do a few there. Right, then I'm going to use it's quite, I don't know what the colour is actually off the top of my head, but it's a more floral colour. I'll tell you exactly what it is if I can find the name. It's called Amethyst, and again it's got a bit of a sparkle going on with it. But I'll just use whatever paints you've got, it really doesn't matter. And all I'm doing with this one is just dotting, just so it looks like little birds. There we go. And then finally, just because it will add a bit of balance, just cleaning the ball tool off again in between uses, but just so you have a little bit of balance, I'm just going to use a little bit of white paint, again shaking it up and taking the paint from the lid, and I'm just going to do dots again. And it just adds that bit of balance and helps all the colours work together. I don't need too much of it. Right, I think that is about it for me. I'm happy with that overall look. I've smudged a little bit of the white ink I can see there, but what I'll do is I'll wait for all of this to dry and then I'll go back in with an eraser and just try and take some of that away. But you can see the overall effect there. It's just creating a little macrame hanging basket, and it's very simple. All you need is some dotting tools and some paint, and you'll be away. So I hope that's really useful for you, and I'll catch you again. Thank you very much.